Alrighty, folks, it's been a minute. We're going to do a quick little new album review here so I can get back to watching some college football. And on the agenda today, we have the debut from San Francisco's Hands of Goro. Now, I looked it up, and I believe that Goro is a character in Mortal Kombat who uses his hands to rip people in two, pull them limb from limb. So I'm guessing that's some metaphorical imagining of their band name and their music. Like I said, these guys are out of San Francisco. They play traditional metal, but it's very much 70s influenced. It's very garagey. It's very new wave of British heavy metal sounding, like the older new wave of British heavy metal bands like Vardis, Samson, you know, some of those older guys that were around in the early 70s before finally releasing product in the 80s. They're a power trio. That's the album cover there. Bleak. There's the guys in the back there. Got a little Motorhead look to them. They do have some Motorhead in their sound. Another Motorhead-esque picture. I believe the tiny fellow is the drummer. Not much going on inside. Couple of pics. Like I said, they are very 70s influenced in their sound, but they play at the speed of light. There's no slowdown in these guys, which I'll bring up later on. They're very similar, I would say, in sound to like Danova, if you know who Danova are. They're another band who takes a lot of sounds from the 70s and plays them at hellfire pace. These guys are a little heavier, I would say, being a power trio, and Danova also incorporates keyboards into their stuff, which these guys don't. It is a straight garage power trio band. Bass player, singer is the singer, guitar player, and the drummer. These guys have played, this is their first album. They've been around since 2016, but this is their debut. It just came out. They have the band members have been in bands like Slowfeg or Sluffeg, depending on how you want to say it. It looks like it should be Sluffeg, but I've heard the majority of people pronounce it Slowfeg. They've done some stints in Angel Witch, Spirit Adrift, so that may be why these guys have been around for 8 years, but just now getting around to putting out a debut. But anyway, so you start off with Prince of Shokan, I believe is how you pronounce that. It starts off like one of Rival Sons' garagey riff intros before just plowing into like a Mothership style groove. Then Demonizer is next up, and this is when you start hitting the throttle. It sounds like early Maiden on Speed, like think their debut album On Speed. It's got a lot of Motorhead type riffing in the song. Uncanny is the third song. I mentioned Vardis either. This is a song where you get like Vardis 100 miles an hour meets Thin Lizzy. And then they actually hit on a Maiden gallop in this song I'll hold this up again so that YouTube will give me a good thumbnail to choose from. And then it's got some Thin Lizzy guitar in it too later on in the song. And like I said, this guy's a killer guitar player. To say that you have Thin Lizzy guitar and be the solo guitar player is a pretty good feat. Next song up is called 21st Century Plague. I think we know what that one's going to be about. It's almost got a Ramones type riff. And the guy really kind of sounds like almost like Lemmy on this one. Not nearly as gravelly. His vocals are, I mean, he's got a little bit of the guy from Prong in his voice. He's got a little bit of Mike Muir from Suicidal Tendencies in his voice. So he's got that kind of, he's got a little Tom Araya in his voice. You Have No Face. That's where you get some Tom Araya sounding and some Slayer-ish Jeff Hanneman type guitar going on in that song. Now, don't get me wrong, even though I mentioned Motorhead and Slayer and Suicidal Tendencies, these guys aren't thrash. They're not speed metal. They just play really fast. And they wear their influences on their sleeve, but they don't sound like their influences. I mean, they're definitely a garage band, but garage type sounding band. I love the production. It's old school production on it. It sounds like they could have been produced by a new wave of British heavy metal band. Waste of Blood, speaking of new wave of British heavy metal, this one's got like a Witchfinder general guitar groove to it. Like I said, the guitar player is really good. He's doing a lot of riffing and soloing throughout, but he doesn't really break out of his soloing until this song Waste of Blood. Then he finally gets ripping, gets like a minute or so solo on it. Then End to End, it almost sounds like it's gonna start off and be a Seek and Destroy cover. And he's got this is where the prong type singing comes in. And then it finishes up with like a road racing style outro, except sped up from 33 to 45. And then the last song is called Archduke of Fear. It's another Riot type song, Riot type riffing. And here's where he sounds a little bit like Mike Muir on vocals. So this thing's really solid. I just happened upon these guys on YouTube. One of the subscriptions I had. I can't remember which one it is. Their label is Nameless Grave. But I don't think I'm subscribed to Nameless Grave, so it was somebody else. Maybe New Wave of Traditional Heavy Metal. I checked on it. I can't remember what song I listened to, but I immediately went to their Bandcamp page and bought it, and it was not disappointing. This is easily 8 out of 10. I've spun it many times, and I plan on spinning it many more. All right, so there we go. Hands of Goro, self-titled debut out of San Francisco. 8 out of 10. You guys check them out. Have a good one. Giga Maggies.